Hey besties, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Aubrey and I am the wannabe homesteader. Today we're gonna make some sandwich bread. I'm gonna be using fresh milled flour as well as some all-purpose flour, but this recipe can be used 100% either way and you can mix it as much as you want. I'm just gonna mill a few cups of flour, and whatever doesn't get me to the 6 cups, I will use all-purpose for the remaining. So let's go make some bread because my kids have been eating it like crazy, and I feel like I've been making 2 loaves like 2 to 3 times a week. So yeah, let's go make some bread so they can have some sandwiches tonight. We're gonna start off milling some wheat. These are some hard white wheat berries I got from Azure Standard. I prefer the hard white berries, but you can use whatever kind of berries you would like. I'm going to start by taking a 1.5 cups of warm water. I put it into my mixer. Into that, I started adding my fresh milled flour, which got me about 4.5 cups. This recipe, you'll need between 6 and 6.5, depending on the day. Once it's in the mixer, I let just the water and flour mix. With fresh milled flour, it's really important to do an autolyse before you add in your other ingredients. This is just going to let the flour absorb the water and you'll get the full potential of the fresh milled flour. I find that I have a better crumb when I do this, and it doesn't make the bread as dense. Once the flour and water have mixed together, I let it sit anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And now I'm going to add in the water and yeast mixture. I did about 1.5 cups of water with the fresh milled flour, and I let the remaining 1/2 cup of water activate the yeast. So we have that in there. And now we're gonna add the remaining 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Add 2 eggs in. Teaspoon of salt. Quarter cup of avocado oil. A 1/3 cup of honey. You can obviously use sugar as well. I'm gonna let that knead for about 10 minutes. I've noticed with fresh milled flour, it definitely takes a little bit longer to knead and come together. But once you find that sweet spot on what the dough looks like, it's so easy to detect, but it does over knead really quick. So you do want to check the window pane every few minutes, like you see me doing right here. And I like to check it in about 2 different spots. Don't ask me why. It's what I do just to make sure it has a good window pane. What that means is you're going to stretch the dough out slightly so it looks like you can see through it, just like looking through a window without it ripping. Once I feel like it has a good window pane, I'm going to take my little scraper and my kneader out of my mixing bowl. Then I'm going to kind of form it all together into a little dough ball. Since I'm not making anything else this day, I go ahead and leave it in this container, or normally I would just put it into a greased glass bowl. Once it's in a little dough ball, I cover it up and I let it rise for 1.5 hours. After the 1.5 hours, I punch it down, get some aggression out. It feels phenomenal. Make sure all the air is out. Deflate that dough before shaping it. I just plop it on the counter and divide it by 2. If you want to be technical, you can get a scale out and weigh it to make sure they're exactly even. I don't do that. I just cut it right down where I think where it looks good enough, in all honesty. And from there, I'm going to shape it up. I don't do anything fancy with shaping. Once it's split, I put one to the side and I kind of like laminate it. Like if you're familiar with sourdough, the laminating phase, that's kind of what I do. I kind of just make it into a rectangle, then I roll it up and I plop it into the bread pan, and then I do the same thing for the second one. Nothing special. It's easy, it gets the job done, and it comes out perfect every single time. I switched to these silicone bread pans about a year or so ago, and I'm literally obsessed with them. I will link them in the description. They're so easy. It plops right out of there, hot from the oven, onto the cooling rack. No more letting it cool down before removing it. No more bread sticking to the sides. It's been a game changer. I have the 3-pack and I absolutely love them. I feel like they belong in every kitchen. I even used it with sourdough before, and it comes out perfect every single time. So once both loaves are shaped, I just put them next to each other, throw the towel over them again, and I let it rise for about an hour. If it's warmer outside, normally it can go between 30 and 45 minutes. During the proof, I will turn my oven on to 350, just so it's ready to go when these loaves go in. I put them in the oven for about 30 minutes, and then when I take them out, I plop them right onto the cooling rack, lather some butter on them, and let them cool completely before putting them in my storage bags. I hope you love this as much as we do.